Yo, what up? What up? What up?
Man, what's the deal, man?
Duse Sims, the Don, Active
Man.
Chuck CEO. I'm here with my bro, Yael.
What's the deal? The
Yeah.
one and only. Hey, man, first off, how can I say this? No offense, dudes. Finally get to see you, man. I heard you was in witness protection?
Yeah, 14 years. I can't go back to LA and shit, so I feel, pretty relieved that I got
feel
out of
safe
witness
here?
protection. I feel safe.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here with my boys, the Conclusion, YDB, Yael.
Oh, man.
We're in Los Angeles, man. LA Live. What up?
Because I heard that paperwork with the Britons was you was setting up niggas with teas and crumpets, man. I don't know what's going on, man.
Bro, that's why you don't believe nothing that come out of Wack 100 mouth. You know what I'm saying? And he always say everything is about him, so I don't want to make it about him. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you why I don't want to make it about him. He's a liar, fake paperwork. Duse Sims can't come back to L.A. He's in witness protection in Wisconsin. I live in Madison, Wisconsin, but I wasn't on witness protection.
Right,
But
right.
when you got somebody who generates and fabricates that type of information about solid people,
Right.
you question like, why would he do something like that?
You gotta question the integrity and the moral compass of that individual.
You got to question more than that, nigga.
Ooh.
The only time I knew motherfuckers that did that was COINTELPRO. Speak on it, my nigga.
Right
Speak
there
on it.
is a key component. COINTELPRO is one of those programs devised by the government to infiltrate and just destroy anything good
Or strong.
or strong.
Strong black males.
And being that you said that, whatever we getting ready to dive into, I'm pretty sure it's going to give a lot of education, understanding, and direction on the subject at hand. So, without further ado, man, I would love to get an understanding on this whole ordeal with you and the people on Clubhouse, because I know they listening to it. We need to get in, man.
Let me say this, man. We gonna do this and we gonna move on. We got something that's a lot bigger where those in our community could focus on.
Correct.
Police brutality, deadly use of force. Through Active Chuck Charitable Org, we lead the charge on the West Coast to overturn qualified immunity. Mm-hmm. By ending qualified immunity, we could hold police accountable.
Right.
And this cop was one of the few that did get charged, and then one of the few that did get convicted. So now that he's convicted, he in jail. He just got stabbed up or whatever. So we gonna talk about that.
Wait, this is the actual police officer
Yes. We'll get into
that
it.
was involved on the case.
Yeah, in Minnesota, man.
Wow.
So, but before that, let's get this out the way. Everybody, Wack 100, Wack 100, CS2 back.
Hey!
Oh, CS2 back. What's up, my nigga?
Don't be. Hey, I told you already.
Oh shit, man.
Whatever
Listen,
he told you.
He told me to mind my business. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, it's for me. My thing is this is my thing. This is how I'm looking at it. When you come from what we come from, and you stand on principles and morals and things of that nature, you'll hear that phrase like, "That's Damu business,"
Right?
Because he's a Damu, you a Damu, activating your campaign, and it's been going, and you doing your thing. So me being the keyway, I be outside looking in.
Right.
But the familiarity is that it's paperwork. And one thing about paperwork, it gets
Publicly. It's in the public domain, activechucks.com. Y'all could go check that out. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I didn't have to say too much. And on top of that, it's literally on the internet. Like
Everywhere. It's viral right now.
Black and white. You can't hide from. You see what I got on? Black and white.
Right.
So the topic at hand is we gonna discuss this black and white.
So yeah, we're gonna get into it a little bit, and then we'll get to our thing.
Uh-huh.
When you got somebody like that, bro, you can either crash out, which I got too much going on.
Correct.
Documentaries, March Madness coming.
Man.
But so we gonna get into it, get it over with, because everybody want to know about Wack 100. So,
And you're not in Wisconsin. You're actually in LA. So
don't tell them that. I'm supposed to be in witness protection.
I'm sorry, my bad, bro.
All right. Now we gonna go. This is why he don't need to be worried about what's going on with real niggas and those positive in our community. He ain't from our community.
The judge said this, and this. Then that erases all of the Keefe D, Tupac confession, and all that stuff. But in my opinion, in reality, this is a task force with a lot of different agencies that all work together to get this done. Can you speak a little bit about that on if Greg's credibility hurts the findings of the entire task force?
Meaning Greg Caden.
Or not?
Dirty cop.
This guy.
No, he's finna talk about
First
it.
of all, there were no arrests made other than Cash Jones.
Wait. In the Main Street case,
Could you play that one more time?
let's run that back in case y'all didn't hear. You have one police officer who led the initial investigation into the Main Street Crips. This is him. And he said the only person that was
You guys
arrested.
said this, and this.
Well, y'all heard
And
him.
that
I didn't say it.
erases all of the Keefe D, Tupac confession, and all that stuff. But in my opinion, in reality, this is a task force with a lot of different agencies that all work together to get this done. Can you speak a little bit about that on if Greg's credibility hurts the findings of the entire task force or not?
Well, first of all, there were no arrests made other than Cash Jones. There was a lot of effort put in with no end result.
So here we got one of the lead investigators into the Tupac Biggie murder investigation, which was one. And then you got the Stutterbox being kidnapped allegedly by Shaquille O'Neal.
Allegedly.
He's supposed to have some Crips kidnap the guy. He walks into the police station, starting an investigation for extortion, drugs, all kind of other things. Stutterbox began cooperating with the police at that point.
Wow.
He was buddy with Wack 100.
I mean, I heard they were neighbors at one point.
They were neighbors,
Okay.
and he said that they raided his house. So we heard what Stutterbox said. Stutterbox said, you in my paperwork on Wiretap, right?
So Stutterbox confirmed that Wack was included in his paperwork
On the Main Street
on the Main Street case,
which he wasn't charged. But this guy saying the only person that was arrested.
was Cash Jones.
Whoa.
I hope you guys are really adhering this closely.
So when I first dropped the paperwork, you know what I'm saying? And we'll
Right.
put that up there in a minute.
Correct.
Cash Jones, I was on Clubhouse. 5 minutes later, he had two police officers, Greg Caden, who was a crooked police, disgraced the force or whatever, and
the worst kind.
Reggie Wright Jr.
The worst kind. The worst kind.
So Greg Caden, the disgraced LAPD officer who wrote the book or whatever, this is what he says. When confronted with the inconsistencies about what's going
This
on.
continuous revision of history. Cash Jones was never arrested. We'd never arrested Cash Jones. So I don't know where he's
He
getting
looked to
that
the side, deception.
You know, the task force essentially had one objective originally, and that was to solve Biggie's murder. Because of what Keefe did and what he said, that kind of transitioned everything over for a short period of time into Tupac's murder.
Wow.
So for him, if it was unsuccessful, then that's his prerogative. That's his opinion. For me, as I've said before, we don't get to where we are today had anything been different. And
He looked a little nervous.
so
He's
for me,
moving
it's
around
success.
trying to keep his
I believe that we
Yeah.
solved
composure.
Biggie's case, at least insofar as we know who did it and who was responsible. So I'm happy to have that closure, at least within my own curiosities. And I think we've allowed a lot of other people.
But this man, Greg Caden, that Wack brought on there when I brought the paperwork, the
Correct,
wiretap.
correct.
And he 5 minutes had two police officers on a Clubhouse app to verify to the world that he wasn't working with these police in their investigation.
But Deuce, let me ask you this: so with this particular situation, is he saying that he wasn't on the Tupac Biggie's case? Correct.
Well, he's playing semantics because most people didn't understand that it was two
Different cases.
investigations that crossroads and merged. As Greg Caden ended up taking the Main Street case federal. When they wanted it to go federal,
Right.
he got involved.
So let's get this understood. With Greg Caden's, right, being that the Biggie and Tupac murder was a separate case from the Main Streets,
Right.
eventually merges in, correct?
Correct.
But before that case merged in, Wack 100 had nothing to do with that particular case dealing with Tupac and Biggie.
Right.
So that's what he's clarifying.
And that they really wanted
Got
him
it.
some information about the Tupac Biggie murders. Cass Jones was incarcerated. But
Wow.
he could
Wow.
anything he gave would have been hearsay, right?
Correct.
And he more than likely he did go to that 64th floor. You know what I'm saying?
With his lawyer to pick up things.
Well, he said he don't even remember what things he brought a lawyer with him to go to the federal building and speak with him.
So I got a question. Why would you need a lawyer to pick up
Files?
Oh,
I don't know.
I've never been to the feds. I don't have a federal number. So I don't know. I'm getting educated. Right, guys? Thanks. You know, I'm just saying, bro. I
want to get into this one right here, right?
Right.
We gonna get into this interview, and I'll put the paperwork up where you'll see what he talking about.
Yo, it's Duff for the Cloud Chaser TV, man.
In part one of this case, we learned from Robert Ross, also known as Stutterbox, a Main Street Mafia Crip, and Wack 100's introduction into the case, that Wack 100 or CS2 Back's house got raided for getting caught on a wiretap on a conspiracy to commit murder, which he never went to prison for, according to the paperwork.
On the video, when you said something about conspiracy to murder, what actually did you hear on audio of Wack 100 that the feds had?
His house got raided because he was on the wiretap. He allegedly gave Dog my address, homie. If I get killed, whoever gave him the address gonna get conspiracy to murder. But if I don't get killed, they can get conspiracy to attempted murder because they shot up my Rolls Royce, put 17 holes in my Rolls Royce.
That's what I'm trying to figure out, though, boss. Help me understand this, because me and you both
finger.
know that whole case was your thing. What is Mark saying I had to do with the case, bro?
Like, listen, in the paperwork, it said you tried to call Dog, remember?
I tried to
And you
call
want to take your call. And I couldn't hear you, because they said when Dog called you, his phone was hit. That's how they got on your line.
No.
And you play. That's what they say, what?
No.
So let me give y'all this right now, right? So now I interviewed Mark Stevens, Shaquille O'Neal's business partner. They had the Deja 34 record label. Man. They signed Ray J. They signed DJ, the brother, rest in peace, from New York.
DJ
K Slate.
Rest in peace. Yeah.
Rest in peace. They signed DJ K Slate and they put Wack as security.
Correct.
For Ray J initially, and then once their deal was over, I guess Ray J bumped him up to be his manager or whatever.
Okay, that's how that happened. Okay.
So Wack, once he heard that I was on the phone with Mark Stevens interviewing him, he said, well, I'm going to bring Stutterbox to clear my name up. Somebody else who's involved with the case. He was a victim and an informant on the case, right?
Correct.
And what he did, he called the man, recorded the man unknowingly, unbeknownst to Stutterbox.
Wow.
He records this audio. Now, if you pay attention, we're going to run that back a little bit real quick because I want to make sure that y'all hear what the fuck Stutterbox tells him.
For the Cloud Chaser TV, man.
In part one of this case, we learned from Robert Ross, also known as Stutterbox, a Main Street Mafia Crip, and Wack 100's introduction into the case, that Wack 100 or CS2 Back's house got raided for getting caught on a wiretap on a conspiracy to commit murder, which he never went to prison for, according to the paperwork.
On the video, when you said something about conspiracy to murder, what actually did you hear on audio of Wack 100 that the feds had?
His house got raided because he was on the wiretap. He allegedly gave Dog my address, homie. If I get killed, whoever gave him the address gonna get conspiracy to murder. But if I don't get killed, they can get conspiracy to attempted murder because they shot up my Rolls Royce, put 17 holes in my Rolls Royce.
That's what I'm trying to figure out, though, boss. Help me understand this, because me and you both know that whole case was your thing. What is Mark saying I had to do with the case, bro?
Like, listen, in the paperwork,
you try to call Dog.
Take your call. I couldn't hear you.
And he wouldn't take your call.
They said when Dog called you, his phone was hit. That's how they got on your line.
Wow.
No.
And you play. That's what they say, what?
No.
Nasty
As you can
work.
see by now in this first part, Stutterbox clearly implicates Wack 100 into this case, not only in an interview with Duse M's and Stats 280, but also right to Wack's face on the recorded phone call. In part two, We saw Deuce M's break down the paperwork with the transcript on which Wack 100 or CS2 back was caught red-handed as a confidential informant for the FBI, with detailed corroborating evidence and paperwork that leaves no doubt that Wack 100 is in fact confidential source number 2 or
Nasty
CS2
work.
back.
The paperwork is a transcript of a wiretap. And once I get into this paperwork, you're going to understand that Wack was one of the names that the feds used for confidential source number 2.
The Wack boy.
Wack also says CS2. Back. CS2, for those who don't understand law, is code word for confidential source. Wack 100 being on a wiretap talking about conspiracy to murder. That holds the same exact term as a murder, a life sentence. And if that's what you on wiretap for, and if that's what they came for you for, then how you out of jail?
In part 3, Deuce M's and Stats 280 speak exclusively with the last key remaining character in this case, and the person Wack 100 directly calls on the wiretap according to the paperwork, Money Mark Stevens. In this bombshell interview, Shaq's business manager Mark Stevens exposes Wack 100 aka Cash Jones, the former Death Row affiliate and Pacoima Piru blood, as a confidential informant for the FBI.
What's going on? I'm here.
Got Mark Stevens on, and
Okay.
hey Mark, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we can hear you. Salute Mark Stevens. This that's the way. Salute everybody. Salute.
Yes, sir.
You was cool with him from the beginning, even negotiated on some business as he.
Yeah, I met him with Stutterbox. I met him with the homie Stutterbox. That's how I first came to meet Wack, was through the homie Stutterbox. Right? When I met him, dude was driving trucks, seemed to be cool. Box was like, yo, this was his neighbor across the street. He seemed to be cool. When Stutterbox defected, Wack picked up the phone and was basically being the interim, the middleman, because he was telling me Stutterbox was defected, and I was like, okay, but my whole thing is, if he defected, why are you fucking with him?
Right. So he says that Stutterbox defected, and then you get some phone calls asking to speak to someone else, right?
Yeah, he called me.
How many times?
He called me, man. It was a series of calls, 4 or 5 calls. He wanted to reach out to the homie, rest in peace, Dale, though. And I don't give out nobody now.
Right.
So I called the homie, Dale, dog. I'm like, yo, homie, you want to holler at this dude or what? Because he keep calling me. And he was like, nah, I'm good on that. I don't want to holler at dude.
So at some point, you get a
Oh, you don't want to do no hollering?
Wack 100, Cash Jones.
Hell no.
And when he contact you, what did he contact you concerning?
He wanted to reach out to Dale Dog, rest in peace. And he wanted to give Dale Dog some information that he had gotten from Stutterbox, right? It's like he was getting information from Stutterbox on what his plan was and what the get down was going to be. And he wanted to talk to the homie and talk to him. And Dog wasn't getting on the line with him. And he kept blowing me up because he wanted me to get him on the line.
Right, smart man. Rest in peace to Dale Dog, man. So he's talking about the phones is being compromised. Is that one of the things that he told you?
Well, the homie Dale Dog never trusted dude. Follow me?
Right.
So Dog didn't know was the lines compromised or was they wired up for sound or not. He just wasn't going to chance it. You follow me?
I'm cool on that, brother.
But it was later on.
I'm cool. I'm cool on that, brother.
The case to they was taking it all away because the homie ain't had no choice. You know, he was facing a life sentence, so he had to take it all away. And with all the lawyers that was involved, they was able to get the discovery, and that's when we found out that the lines was compromised.
And as soon when you get the discovery, was part of that the actual wiretap
the whole transcript. I got the whole transcript. The whole transcripts of the whole wiretaps.
And do you, in that paperwork, do you see your conversation when do you see your conversation with Cash Jones in them transcripts?
That was the initiating. That was the initiating when they started recording.
Right. And how did they refer to Cash Jones?
In the paperwork they put him as Back, B-A-C-K. And
right.
I kept asking
the Wack boy in a minute.
The lawyer, like, who the fuck is? I ain't talking to no Back.
Nasty.
And they
Wack.
said, nah, that's Wack.
Oh.
So they put him in Back because he a brother. So it's
wow.
Back. So, okay.
Was this Back also referred as confidential source number 2?
Yes, sir.
Correct. Well,
that's nasty work. We don't even need to play no more of that. You got 2 dudes on the Main Street case involved. Mark Stevens was never charged.
Correct.
But he was the money man through Shaquille O'Neal, making sure they had attorneys
right.
and helping them fight against.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He says the initial wiretap in the paperwork.
The first conversation
was started with Cash Jones. Now, mind you, Cash Jones had already caught a gun case in Texas. He also cut several rifles, a shotgun, some other pistols, and 800 rounds.
And that's Damu business. I mean, it is.
It is Damu business, but now it's public record.
I'm just confused on how did he get away from that, and then we migrating our way to this.
Well,
because I remember something being referred to that a while ago. He held 7 Main Streets.
That was this case. He lied. He said he sent Greg Caden, the police detective, who owed him a favor. If I ever tell y'all I owe y'all a favor, y'all make sure I don't leave alive.
Wait.
The police owe me a favor.
Have you ever have the cops ever owed you a favor, Deuce?
We never been that friendly or had that much conversation.
I've never heard of a cop telling me or anyone of that matter of a good status and stature in the streets, hey, I owe you a favor.
So I could go kill a motherfucker right now and you gonna let me out?
You gonna let me go? But why would you let me go?
You know what they say, man. One hand washes the other. You scratch my back, I scratch your back.
Oh, so I initially gave you something and to get something in return.
That's how it works.
For all of the people that don't understand that verbiage, he gave something to get something in return. You don't get a favor for free.
Nothing in life is free.
Not even air.
Not even air. But just to sum this up, right?
Right.
So his lie was he sent Greg Cadence to talk to Mark Stevens.
Correct.
And he saved 7 Main Street Crips because they beat the case, right? In trial.
Right.
They beat the feds. Well, if you saved these 7 Crips, then how come you couldn't get one of them to come vouch that you wasn't CS2 back? You said Mark knows. Well, Mark is saying
you CS2 back.
And Stutterbox is saying
you CS2 back. So who's saying that you not?
The police.
Oh. The ones that were
Greg Caden.
That didn't have nothing to do with that case.
Right.
You know what? That is a good spin.
It's like a three card Molly. You know what I'm saying?
That like on the corner, you see that little game. They put the ball. They take the ball out, then trick you to get this. But they actually.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what he's trying to do. And a lot of people are slow. The average common sense ain't that common. And then if you want to believe a lie or you scared of the truth, you'll believe it. You understand what I'm saying? So he's able to manipulate online, but in reality, this man is a federal confidential source on a federal case. And once you start working, they don't do with you now. You provided reliable information. So now they're going, for the rest of your life, them people going to be in your life. So that's the reason why we're going to be brief with this. Cash Jones, a.k.a. Wack 100, you want to sue and all of that. You can't sue for the truth. And I'm a counter suit. So I hope that you do it so the truth all come out. You can try to save face temporarily, but bro, you got a lot of other things to worry about. Go talk to Stutterbox, go talk to Mark Stevens.
But he did already, and they basically confirmed and said, brother, you back.
Yeah, so you right. The gig's up, my nigga. Just go ahead and come on out the closet. I mean,
the closet. I don't know, man.
Allegedly, you know what I'm saying? 3-finger whack. You know what I'm saying? But no, really,
that ain't me. I mean, I don't know.
6ix9ine got away with it. Gunner got away with it.
Troy Ave got away with it.
You might as well come on out the closet and let them know that you hip hop police, that you up under these dudes and in these niggas' paperwork, and you working, giving confidential information. The crazy thing, people set the standards so high. Baby Gangster, shout out Baby Gangster, man.
Salute,
OG&T. He said, you don't always need the paperwork on somebody when you know that what they did.
But
right?
where did that come do? So when you say that, right? And let's clarify that. When you say you don't always need the paperwork, what are you basically saying? Because I know that politic came from a jail system.
Well, exactly. It's paperwork is clarify everything, but as long as you willing to stand on it,
correct,
and you got common sense. I sell soft cocaine, right?
Right.
No hard.
None.
You wearing a wire and come buy something, knowing that you wouldn't do that, but you wearing a wire and come buy some coke from me and tell me, no, I want it hard. I never sell nobody else hard, and it's a confidential source saying I sold them 4 ounces of hard. I know for a fact in my mind, because I took a deal, I don't get all the paperwork, but I know the only person that I sold crack to was you.
Correct.
So I don't have the paperwork, but in my mind, I know for a fact Yael was the only one that came and bought the crack.
That makes perfect sense.
Same thing with them. I know who called me asking for Dale Dog's phone number.
Right.
Right? And Dale Dog said, no, you wasn't fucking with him. It's in my wiretaps. It's the same thing the other informant Stutterbox said.
Correct.
You in my paperwork trying to call Dale Dog.
And Dale Dog said, I don't want to deal with that brother.
Right.
So he denied
the Wack boy. And then Mark Stevens say, well, I ain't helped the Wack boy in a long time.
So Wack, back, a rack. I don't want to.
Listen, man.
I don't know whatever.
Y'all gonna believe what y'all want to believe. This ain't about Wack.
But it's business.
It's business. Whenever it's public information.
It's business.
And it's on there as a media personality and a podcaster, we're going to cover it.
Well, because shout out, BigU said something in a reference to that. He said, if it's public records and you're podcasting, guess what? You can talk about it.
Exactly.
And guess what, guys? We're podcasters at the moment.
So you content right now, my nigga. You know what I'm saying?
It is what it is.
And he drags his name every other week. It's the same.
Narrative is cold. I mean,
it's different every other week. It's a little bit different.
How so? I mean, elaborate, because I'm kind of...
One week he might come out and say he got picked up in a RICO indictment. First of all, how you know a RICO? Cause I ain't seen no public records that say a RICO happened.
Where did you get that information from?
They own favors. Remember, they own favors. Then the next week, he talked about they politicking on him and running him out. He owned property over there and got a non-profit. So
I'm confused. So
it's just to muddy the waters, divert from the real point, CS2 back, so that people be talking about something else. And they bite like a big mouth bass for their clicks, the YouTubers and his YouTube team gonna run the clicks or whatever. So Wack 100, when y'all see that we don't speak on you no more, you're excommunicated from our community. You're no longer a Paru. You're no longer a blood. You're an informant. You know what I'm saying? We got Crips and Bloods that sacrificed their life and stood up like men. You know what I'm saying? Being held accountable for their wrong acts or whatever.
Correct.
Not trying to throw somebody else under. You're not that. So go worry about you being on this paperwork and you live with that reality. We gonna get into something bigger. And this is about the guy's Chauvin. Chauvin, he in jail, right?
Whoa.
So Chauvin.
Is this?
Let me see. I'm gonna pull it up. Whoa. There it go, right there. George Floyd killer, right?
Okay.
Cop Derek Chauvin stabbed 22 times in a prison attack.
Oh wow, man.
So for those who don't remember, George Chauvin was the Caucasian police officer, and him being white doesn't matter. It's institutionalized racism.
Correct.
They're all blue, whether they're skin color, they don't see that. They live by blue. They protect blue. The blue wall is going to protect them. The minute that they shoot an unarmed person or citizen in the community, more than likely black or Latino, right? And the sergeant get there, or the watch commander are going to say, hey, Mr. Chauvin, this was a good kill. You're a good cop. Don't say nothing until you speak with your union rep.
Wow.
From there, the cover-ups start. And they have a law called qualified immunity. It's a federal law which holds if you was to choke somebody out like that under them same circumstances, it'll be easier to convict you because you're not a agent of the government, right?
Wow.
So it essentially creates a second class citizen for us, because if you with law enforcement or the government, then you're held to a higher standard, even to be indicted, and even a higher standard to be convicted.
Wow.
So one out of thousands, this guy was indicted. One out of millions, he was found guilty and held accountable for wrongfully killing this black man. Choked him in cold blood in front of everybody on the street with his knee in his neck. Bro.
Correct.
Had him crying for his mama, right? Now, instead of talking about that other negative bullshit, we want to take this time out to focus on this and really enlighten people so they know that that's a law that we need to do. Black Lives Matter was a dupe. They didn't change nothing. Their voice was heard, but utilizing that momentum to capitalize for actual change, they felt on that. They got the money and sold us out like so many others. You know what I'm saying?
Was it like 20-something million, 22 million?
$4 million mansions and allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. We not, you know what I'm saying? It's just that's what the news say. So yeah.
But in these cases, that could be the difference in somebody's life, right?
Right.
If they see more examples of bad police being held accountable, they'll think twice and appreciate human life just a little bit more. And even if they so degenerate that they look at us like animals and don't appreciate human life, they'll appreciate their life and their families and say, listen, they're not going for that shit anymore.
Right.
I'm not just going to do that. I'm going to make sure I'm grabbing my taser before I squeeze and knock my gun.
So let me ask you this. Being that this happened, that guy was stabbed 22 times in jail, moving forward, what can actually happen taking these steps and precautions within the community that you mentioned that more things like this need to happen as far as us taking a stance? Because Black Lives Matter didn't do anything for the inner city communities. So what do you feel like can happen now that will be more effective, being that you represent an organization like Active Chucks and you've been putting work in, giving back to the schools and, you know, out there in Vegas and things of that nature? What else could happen right now in this critical, pivotal time that can be somewhat of a solution to this?
I think we need to file civil suit because it violates our constitutional amendment. So I think that we have to end qualified immunity. That's first and foremost. In the meantime, within our community, you see black and brown people being harassed by police. And you back in the Panthers days, and even once the Crips and Blood started, when those situations happened, the people in the community would come out and they're going to stand there and make sure that they don't exceed their authority and govern our own. Right? That's what it was about. California Revolution in progress. Black revolutionary independent militant soldiers. Brims, Crips, Bloods. Initially, this is what we stood up for, to protect our community. I think it's time we get back to that.
Right. And to add to that, we're not promoting anything as far as going out here in a violent rant. That's not what we're promoting. What we're promoting is that when you say stand with your community, when you see an injustice to one, it's really an injustice to all. It's an injustice to your child. It's an injustice to your brother, your sister, your dad, your uncle, your auntie, your niece, anybody you call a friend or family member. So with that being said, we're not promoting anybody to go out here and do violent acts. But the people that are made aware, and you want those people to come together, make sure the people come together for the same cause. You can't have people that are cowards, people who are willing to give up the leaders in the organizations. Example, Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying?
William O'Neill snitched on Fred Hampton.
And we're not making it something like, oh, we want to be violent towards people like that. No, you just got to know who to share information with, and who to bring into your organization,
village, tribe.
However you want to doctor that up. Just know that the people that you bring in are the people that's going to be standing with you 10 toes down when anything goes down. You know what I'm saying?
And
Be
I
very
think
mindful.
we need to amplify the voice of those people in our community when they are noted as by their acts, not by their lip service, but when they see that they doing those type of deeds and trying to, unify and organize our communities. We need to amplify that voice and make sure that we protect them.
I had an individual do me like that, man. I was coming out of I was coming out of my community. It was late, say about eight-ish. I'm driving, I see the light. Everybody's, at the light stop. I see the police to my right. So I'm like, they're not on me. I proceed to make a left. I'm driving, doing the speed limit. They followed me. They followed me for about a good 5 minutes. So by the time I get to the intersection to cross over, they put on their police lights.
Blurred you.
Yeah. So I get pulled over. The guy says, "Oh," police officer gets out. It's him. It was him and his partner, maybe some type of Hispanic. I don't know. Maybe.
Right.
Long story short, officer says, "Oh, you were swerving." I'm said, No, I wasn't. You
see them behind you. The last thing you gonna do is swerve, right?
Swerving. I said, "No, officer. I patiently drove the speed limit because I knew you guys were behind me. I'm just curious on why you want to pull me over." And he was like, "Well, you look like you were swerving." I said, "No, you look like you want to harass me." In the midst of that, a young lady drove by and seen me, got out her car, and proceeded to record the whole altercation. But not just that.
Amen.
All praises to the Most High for that, man. It's a beautiful thing. And being not just that, the Most High sending the angel to look over me, I knew my rights.
Right.
I told him, I said, "You have no right to harass me. I'm not on parole. I'm not on probation. I have license and registration. But what you're going to do, you're going to call your sergeant. I'm going to get your sergeant out here. If you don't want to do that, if you give me a ticket, I will be at your precinct every single day reporting your badge number." Why?
Right.
Because you can't elevate.
And that's going to leave and document that type of behavior for future references.
And and like we said, we're not promoting a violent rant.
Well, I'm not saying that violence, it shouldn't be an option. I kind of beg to differ.
But this is what I'm saying in this message, in this particular moment, that's not the first.
No, that's the last alternative to protect yourself.
Correct.
I believe that we all have an innate right to defend and protect ourselves.
1,000%.
Especially when a police officer or the government or anybody in this world overstep their authority and is threatening your life.
1,000%. Yeah.
And if that means that I end up going to jail, I guess I'll be a criminal.
But you'll be a live one.
Exactly. But I appreciate you chopping it up with me today, man.
It's beautiful, man.
We got a late start, but this is great content, positive content. Turn a negative into a positive. This Active Chucks, that's what we do. Salute to everybody out there. Go follow at Active Chucks on YouTube, the channel, Instagram, and
tap into Real Damu Love on Clubhouse.
Shout out Real Damu Love.
I know Clubhouse give people a bad name. It's a lot of stuff that goes on, but that's one of the rules as a keyway, man. That's one of the rooms I'm so comfortable in. I love the vibe. The people in there is authentic. You always got a troll or two. We salute them too. Everybody's welcome. I'm
What's your Instagram?
Ya.L official on Instagram, same as my YouTube, man. Support the cause, support Active Chucks, his whole team, and man, we'll be seeing you guys soon, man.
Peace.